You're listening to hashtag No Filter with Zack Peter. That's me, your naturally platinum blonde pop culture connoisseur. I'm the reality TV junkie, self-improvement addict, and host with only the hottest tea spilled fresh weekly. For more hot takes, go and give me a follow at Just Plain Zack. I always keep it funny and I always keep it cute. Or if you're like me and you want to stay up to date with the latest reality tea, just go and give us a follow at No Filter with Zack on the Instagram or join our private Facebook group. The link is in the description below. If you haven't done so yet, I hope you got your tickets to see me and Adam Newell live on our Spilling Tea live tour. We're coming to LA April 7th, Nashville April 13th, and New York April 28th. We have a lot of fun surprises in store, so if you haven't done so yet, go and snag your tickets at spillingtealive.com. That's spillingtealive.com. Okay, today's guest knows how to make one mean sandwich, but don't activate her because she can be a bit of a fighter. Please welcome from Bravo TV's Summer House, Lindsay Hubbard.
I think people were wondering who it was when you said sandwiches and activating.
Surprise.
Zero doubt in anyone's mind. Okay, I have some questions. Well, first of all, your music made me want to go to a club, and I haven't wanted to go to a club in a long time. So congrats on that. But did you say naturally platinum?
Naturally platinum. Yes, that is the inside joke here on No Filter. Clearly, I'm not naturally platinum because the roots are severely grown out, but it's like you're blonde. So, like maintaining blonde is one extremely tough, but we have to like work my bleaches around like my travel schedule and my event schedule.
Right.
So, but I mean, I love a good rooty blonde too. So
yeah,
I tell
totally.
people I just paint in the roots, but I'm just naturally platinum.
Yeah, I was pretty platinum for a while, but now I'm trying out like a little bit more of a warm blonde. So good for you. I love platinum blondes.
Yes. So we got so many questions for you, Lindsay. People were so excited to know that you were coming on because I've had a lot of your other Summer House co-stars in the No Filter hot seat. One of our favorite recurring guests is Carl, who I don't know if you're friendly with him. I don't know how you guys are.
Yeah,
currently.
I haven't heard of him. Who is he?
We love Carl on the show, but we got so many questions for you. First one comes from Jess Thomas, who wants to know, thank you so much for so bravely speaking about your miscarriage on the show. She wants to know if your outlook has changed at all and how life is now after going through that experience.
My outlook in terms of
just life, future, kids. Yeah.
I mean, my goals are still the same. I still would love one day to start a family and have children. So it hasn't really changed that. I think going through a miscarriage, it definitely changed my outlook for the summer. Specific to the summer, my summer almost went one completely different way. And when it didn't go that way, I went the complete opposite direction of just wanting zero attachments and having to have fun, as much fun as possible, as you've been seeing. So I think that, in the short term, my outlook had changed for the summertime, but in the long term, it's still the same. I still would love, one day to have children and a family.
What went into your decision to share that and to bring it up on the show? Because obviously once you bring it up on the show, you open yourself up to other people's, criticism and, you subject yourself to other people's opinions. And with something so heavy, was it something you even considered not bringing up?
No, there was no question in my mind. It wasn't really like a decision that I had to weigh. Honestly, it happened so close to when we started filming, that it really just wasn't a question of whether I was going to share it or not. I ultimately decided to share it because, I have shared everything with viewers for 6 seasons, from my romantic relationships to my friendships and my work and my family, and everything that makes up Lindsay Hubbard. So I felt like I would have done viewers a disservice if I didn't share this aspect of my life. It is, reality TV, and this was my reality. I I think more importantly, I wanted to sort of be one voice for women who have also experienced having a miscarriage and, giving them somebody to relate to and let them know that they're not alone. I think that it's, still such a taboo topic and not enough women really talk about it because they feel a lot of shame. And, the statistics are really high. There's, more miscarriages than people really understand, and especially in the first pregnancy. And I think it's like 1 in every 4 women, or 25%. They're probably honestly higher because people don't know that they're pregnant. Yeah. And then have a miscarriage that they probably think is just a really bad period with terrible cramps. Yeah. So, the statistics are really high. I wanted to share, to be able to help women understand that they're not alone, and that there's really nothing to be ashamed about. And, it also helps me to talk about it with, my friends and family and viewers. I mean, I get a lot of messages all the time from various women just saying, thank you for sharing. And like, that's when, like, okay, like that makes it all worth sharing.
And the platform definitely makes it worth it. Have you heard from Sheena Shea at all? I know she also recently opened up about her miscarriage.
Yeah. I didn't, it wasn't until the episode had come out, because I love the Vanderpump Girls. I actually think almost all of them. I know Katie, Sheena, Kristin, a lot of them had reached out to me once the episode came out, and which was really, really nice and sweet. But it wasn't something that I talked to her about, previous to the episode airing. But she reached out, which was really sweet.
So we did just see in this recent episode this explosive hookup between Kristin Cavallari and Craig, which made some waves in the house with Paige. Do you think that Craig really hooked up with Kristin?
Yeah, I keep seeing these headlines, where, Kristin said she didn't hook up with him. Listen, I don't think Craig would have lied about it, because that would be risking, where he's at with Paige. Like, that would be like a huge risk to lie about something that didn't happen. So I think it happened. I just
well, she's also very specific to say that she never dated Austen or Craig, and she hasn't publicly said I've never hooked up with him. But then I also know that like hooking up in LA versus hooking up in New York could mean different things. Like in New York, a hookup could just be like making out, but like in LA, hookup means you went all the way.
Yeah, I mean, even for me, when I talk about hooking up, it's like completely different. When I don't even know, everyone's version of hooking up is very different. I mean, I don't think she dated them either. I believe both of them, to be honest. I believe Kristin and I believe Craig. And it sucks because I don't think this would have been as big of, a story as it was, but everyone we're talking about is very high profile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think it would have blown up the way that it did had it not been who it was.
Have you met Kristin?
I have not, no.
Oh, so you've never, I would love to see a Kristin cameo on Summer House. Like, give us Kristin for the weekend.
I mean, Kristin looks like so much fun and like my kind of girl, like she loves wine, country music, and just to have a good time, which is pretty much my vibe a lot of the time. So, I mean, I think she would be like a really fun girl to hang out with, but no, I've never met her.
Jones Blake on Instagram wants to know what it's like watching Carl and Ciara on Summer House right now. Is there any jealousy?
Jealousy? No.
Being that there's some flirting going
Carl
on.
has to watch single Lindsay, and I was like super single last summer. So, if anything, I'm more awkward. I feel more awkward, that he has to watch me. But no, there's no jealousy. I'm not I was never concerned about it even over summer, anything with Ciara. I just like, I would talk to Carl a lot in, the middle of the week and between the weekends. And he wasn't really serious about anything with Ciara. And so I just always knew it wasn't really anything. And it's also just like typical Carl, when there's single Carl is like single Lindsay, like, what you're going to get, right? Like from single Carl, you're going to get that like, spiel about how you're so beautiful. You're single. I'm single. Let's like, see what happens. Like Carl does that with he did it with me, season 4. So, that's just typical Carl. So, but yeah, I'm more nervous about him having to watch Single Lindsay.
Yeah. Single Lindsay's fun though. I love watching Single Lindsay.
Yeah. Single Lindsay likes to have a real good time.
Tales with Frank wants to know if you were surprised that Ciara had Hannah's back over Luke, but did not have your back over Austen.
That's like a pretty multi-layered answer. Because I think in general, there's a lot of hypocrisy that goes on. I will say, like, I think a couple of people owe Luke an apology about being so hard on him. I always defended Luke because he was very upfront about his intentions and where he stood. So people didn't give him enough credit for that. So, listen, like in regards to like the Austen, Lindsay, Ciara situation, I just don't think females should ever blame the other female for a guy not necessarily being as honest with you as he should.
Yeah. How are you in Austen, by the way?
I don't know. I haven't really talked to him. I ran into him in Charleston in December. I was there because Kyle, Amanda, and Carl were launching Loverboy in Charleston. So I went down to have fun, make a weekend out of it. And we hung out with the Southern Charm crew. And we basically talked about how we needed to talk. It was just not a good weekend. I was busy with the Loverboy launch in Charleston. They were filming their finale, which anyone who's like going into their last weekend of filming, you're like crawling to the finish line. Like there's, I did not want to interrupt that basically. So we agreed that we needed to have a bigger conversation. It just hasn't happened yet. I'm sure it will. Whatever.
Well, on Watch What Happens Live, which he was put in an awkward position to like pick between you and Ciara about like who was the better kisser, which obviously was wildly uncomfortable for you because I'm watching it and I'm uncomfortable, and then you're in the audience having to watch it. Was that the night that that you knew, okay, maybe I think I want to take a break from this, being that, he obviously picked Ciara in a lot of his answers over you?
Oh, so here's the thing. It's like, I didn't care that he picked Ciara. Like, I hooked up with Austen once, like a long time ago, right? Did we cuddle? No. I don't think I've ever cuddled with Austen. I don't care, and I've never really like had, all of these makeouts with them. So I wasn't concerned or like, I didn't care. I think it was just the way in which he went about it. Like he could have, he didn't have to just like embarrass me so blatantly, like I'm your so-called best friend, to the point where I'm sitting here supporting you as your best friend. Like you can just be like, well, I'm gonna say this because like I love you, Linz. But it was just like more than that. It was more than like him just like pretending like I wasn't even like a friend of his. It was like coming out of that episode and watching him attempt to gaslight me, like I was like, what are you doing? And it was just like sort of multiple things that started adding up that made me realize that maybe he's not, the friend that I am to him. And I really, do try to nurture and give a lot to my friendships. I think that you can see that on almost every season of Summer House. how much I am, try to be a good friend to my friends. So, when I give that much in a friendship, I kind of expect the same in return, with respect. And I just didn't feel like, I felt like he lost sight of that. So I was like, okay, no worries. Like, I'm going to take some space from this.
Well,
so.
afterwards, he did say he called you overbearing, and he basically implied that you invited yourself to watch What Happens Live, and that
I saw that.
Yeah.
I mean, of course he's going to like try to spin the story. Like, I'm not concerned about that. I mean, whatever. Who cares?
J Denny 2030 wants to know, after your first go around with Carl, what drew you back to him again?
Carl and I have always had such a special bond. We've always been super, super connected. Like even as friends, we've just always been drawn to each other. And, as far as what drew me back to him romantically again, something clicked over summer, which you guys, I think, will see. And I don't know, it just sort of clicked in like this different way that I didn't even think about all summer. Like like I didn't know or feel like I had these underlying feelings for him still, but I just think they never went away. And I think maybe the same happened for him. And it just so happened to be at the exact same time. Both of us were like, wait a second, what's happening here? But yeah, Carl's an amazing guy. I think he's put in so much work on himself. And look at what he's done to get to 1 year of sobriety. Like that, he's really, really strong. And the fact that he did that on his own, and especially in the environment and the lifestyle that we live in, I have so much respect for him for being that strong and for putting in that much work. And, he's just an amazing guy. And I think I've always seen like these amazing sides to Carl, and I'm privy to them, right? Because I'm the closest person to him and have been for years, that I've always seen those different sides to him. But, starting last season and then obviously this season again, like viewers are now able to see all of this good that has been inside of this man this entire time. They were just overshadowed in the past by the bad stuff.
Yeah. And I feel like you guys are both in just like a good, at least from what we see on the show, in such a different place and in like a better place in your own personal lives that like, I don't know, it feels like now might be the right time for this to really go all the way. Is Carl endgame?
Yeah, of course Carl's endgame. I mean, what would I be doing in this situation if he wasn't, right? That would be a big waste of time. Of course, Carl's endgame. He's amazing. He is so loving, and everything that I've struggled, everything that I've wanted in a partnership, in a relationship, in a life partner that I've struggled in finding in these various boyfriends of mine. For example, last season, my boyfriend, I struggled with like wanting certain things I just wasn't getting from that relationship. And Carl is all of those things. And he's just a phenomenal partner, and we make an amazing team, and we just have so much fun along the way, which I think is also really important.
Do you feel
in life?
Do you feel like there was ever a pressure for you? Because I feel like there's a double standard with like men and women, especially being on a reality show where like people expect women to settle down and want to have kids and get married a lot sooner. Did you feel any of that pressure from people in the audience, especially being that we've seen you in different relationships in past seasons?
No, I think I put the pressure on myself. I don't think people necessarily viewer wise was putting the pressure on me. I think it was just me, because it's something that I've always wanted. I've always wanted that, traditional, even though I'm like such a non-traditional girl, I've always wanted a family and a marriage. And I believed in that kind of bigger, higher love. And, I put the pressure on myself so much that I almost chose, the wrong people and settled. And that's something that I just don't stand for. And I'm glad I didn't settle, I didn't settle for what I, ultimately knew I wanted and deserved. And now I have it. And I hope that serves as an example to women because, I was getting like nothing out of those past relationships.
Yeah.
Nothing compared to what I'm, getting now, which is just equality. But no, I don't think like viewers ever looked at me. I think they just like saw me struggling with like, these romantic journeys I was on and like these crazy paths. And I think people were always really rooting for me because they knew I had so much love to give, and I do. Excuse me. So I think, I think they just like really wanted me to find that happiness.
Well, it looks like, you have a bit of a glow to you. So it looks like you found happiness and there's a lot of love in your life. Chris O'Shea wants to know why you and Carl haven't moved in yet since you live in the same building.
Well, where does this person live?
I don't know. I think she means, don't you and Carl live in the same apartment building?
Yeah, we do. But like anyone who understands New York, that's why I was wondering where she lives.
I don't think she's in New York.
Yeah. So in New York, you can't just like pick up and move.
Yeah.
Like you have to fulfill your lease.
Oh my God, no, I'm in downtown LA. And I remember when I tried to move apartments one time and they're like, it's a whole process and you have to reapply to live in the same building and there's a transfer fee. It's not easy.
Yeah, no. So like, I just renewed my lease in October for another year. You can't do it for less than a year. But by October, it's way too soon to have any sort of conversations with Carl about moving in. I mean, the guy would have been freaked out.
Yeah.
And like, those were like the very beginning stages of like entering into this like new romantic dynamic, right? So I renewed my lease. And like now his lease is up in a couple of months and we're like, well, what do we do? What do we do? I mean, it's just not as easy. Sure. Like, could one of us break our lease and get out of it to go like move in together? Absolutely. Would that make more sense financially? Yes. But you also have to pay a significant amount financially. It's also timing. We have a lot of traveling that has been going on. In the last couple of months, we have a lot of traveling coming up. So, you have to like weigh out way more options than just, hey, I want to live with you. Do I want to live with him? Like as of yesterday? Absolutely. But it's just not as easy as snapping your fingers, unfortunately.
I think there's also a healthy separation when you're still like, but you guys have known each other for so long that it's... How long have you guys known
I don't know. We really we're together all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And like, we just don't get sick of each other ever.
And you have like that separation, be like, okay, I can go to my apartment. I have my space. He has his space. Like, but I'm sure you guys are spending the night with each other often.
Well, yeah, every night. But and like, you have to also think about it, right? Like I have a 1-bedroom apartment. He has a 1-bedroom apartment. Like if we moved in together, like we have to get at minimum of 2-bedroom apartment. Yeah. So at that point, there's a lot of options to weigh out as far as, but I love like the fact that we live in the same building. There's not a lot of pressure as far as like, we have to move in together because we live in the same building. If that wasn't the case, there would probably be a lot more like different conversations if we had to travel to get to each other. But
do you spend the night more at his place or does he spend the night more at your place?
His place probably more so than mine, just because, he's a tall guy and he has a king size bed. And for some reason, his bedroom is a lot like cooler than my bedroom. My bedroom gets really hot at night and I like get really hot at night. Like I'm like a furnace. So So yeah, so more so in his apartment, but we do like split. I mean, we're pretty even about our split as far as, where we spend our time before bed.
BT Rich One asks, how many sandwiches have you made for Carl?
As everyone keeps asking this question, how many has he made for me? How many have I made for him? We don't really like make sandwiches for each other, but I do love to experiment with different recipes. So I do make a lot of home cooked meals, which in my opinion is way more than a sandwich.
Yes.
A lot more effort goes into it. And he also does the same. He is, when it's warm outside, he likes to grill, and he also gets into the kitchen with me to like cook with me, which is something that I haven't really necessarily gotten from any other relationship. And that's cool. It's fun, like he's intrigued and wants to help and, like learn more, in the culinary field along with me. So yeah, I haven't specifically made him a sandwich, but I've made him more and he's made me more.
Are you guys doing anything special for Valentine's Day?
Well, we are going to Mexico for like this long weekend. And then obviously we're back for the Super Bowl because we both love football and we have to watch it. But yeah, Valentine's Day is what, Monday? Honestly, like I'll probably at that point just want to stay in and like order pizza or something.
Do you even care about? I feel like we overhype Valentine's Day.
I've always thought Valentine's Day was overhyped. I've never been the girl that's like wanting to go to the Cine restaurant on Valentine's Day. It's like the worst night to go to, the restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've always just been like, I'd rather be at home and do something special and intimate and sentimental to the two of us. So we'll probably just wind up doing that on the actual day, but we are going to Mexico. So that I think is our thing, our Valentine's Day trip.
Well, that'll be fun. LV Nights Girl wants to know if you guys have talked at all about marriage or babies.
We haven't like talked in specifics about like how many kids do you want? What do you want to name them? It's not like that. I mean, I think we both are very serious about having a serious future with each other. And it'll happen. But no, I don't feel the need like I have maybe in the past, because I think I'm just so at peace in having a secure relationship, that I don't really feel the need to like talk about it. It'll come, but I think we both want it
in time.
We both want it in time, and we want it from each other, and we want the same things. So
how many months has it been now officially?
Well, whenever he officially announced it on Watch What Happens Live. So what, a month?
Well, I mean, I think we've seen the photos though for months, I think since like Kyle and Amanda's wedding of the two of you together. Has it been, was that like when it was official, or have you guys secretly been like together for a minute?
No, I mean, listen, like it's just like any other relationship, right? You date. And although it's different because I don't have to get to know him in a way that's like, what do you do for work? And like, how many siblings do you have? Or, meeting the parents. Like I already met his parents years ago. So we didn't have to get to know each other that way, but there's still like a dating period.
Process,
and ultimately at the end of the day, like what? It was like a few months since Kyle and Amanda got married at the end of September, and here we are, at the end of January. So I think that's a pretty typical, normal time frame to become official with somebody.
Did you ever have doubts that Amanda and Kyle would make it down the aisle?
No, I never had doubts. I mean, they have just like overcome so much adversity and like persevered. Like it's not easy. Obviously they've been on since season 1, they've been in a relationship and have had it like, picked apart and scrutinized, and, like people tend to like, target relationships because they're easier to target. So they've been through a lot. I never had any doubts that they would make it down the aisle. No.
Now, since you are a PR like queen, do you ever give them advice for Loverboy? Since Carl and Kyle really, I think people don't realize how much they're actually like doing everything behind Lover. Like they're not just a face, like a housewife face in front of an alcohol brand. Like they're actually running this company themselves. Do you ever kind of pop in and give them some PR advice?
I have in the past for sure. But I think it's like healthier. Like my boyfriend works for Loverboy. Kyle and Carl are best friends. Kyle and Amanda are married. So like at some point, there has to be some separation, especially for Carl. Like, if I was like super involved with Loverboy, it probably wouldn't be amazing for my relationship with Carl. So I think, I have in the past given advice, but I also like to like keep my distance and just support as a friend. Because, that's their thing.
Dina J wants to know how much Loverboy you drink in a week.
Oh my gosh. I mean, we slam them at the summer house over summer, or when are we talking here? Yeah, I don't know. How many Loverboys do I drink in a week over summer? Probably like 10.
I love the orange chai. Now that they're here in Ralph's, I like am always buying them out of Ralph's, and their orange chai is my favorite.
Yeah, I love orange chai. My favorite always changes. Like it started out as like the lemon iced tea, and then it's gone to the hibiscus pomegranate. Then it went to the peach, and then now it's orange chai. And then in like a couple of months, I think or whenever soon, they are launching a new flavor that is probably my all-time favorite.
As Told by Tones wants to know what happened with Jason.
Yeah, I thought you guys were going to see, I did talk to him at the beginning of summer, on camera, but I guess it didn't make it. Jason I still run into him whenever, there's a big group, doing something like a holiday party, whatever. So, he's around. I don't hang out with him, but we'll text here and there. Jason's a great guy. He really is. I think that I don't have enough nice things to say about him because he's just so wonderful of a person.
Why didn't things work out?
I think, well, things didn't work out for me with him just because I don't know. I wanted something a little bit more from him that I wasn't getting. And like, I'm trying to learn from my past relationships where I stayed in things a little bit too long sometimes when I shouldn't have. If I knew it wasn't necessarily, going to be a forever thing. So yeah, I couldn't necessarily see that huge, big future with him. And ultimately, I think that's what happened.
Now with Paige, we see her in this current love triangle with Andrea and with Craig. Were you rooting for one or the other over the summer?
No. I mean, again, like this is like the wildest thing. Like I'm seeing things like right when you guys are as viewers that I don't know go on behind closed doors. So for me, once Paige was with Craig in my mind. I didn't know that there was still, something kind of happening with Andrea and her. But yeah, no, there was no like guessing game for me as far as who she was going to wind up with. I mean,
Craig.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
mean,
I like them together. I mean, I enjoy seeing Paige and Craig. I enjoy knowing that like by the end of Summer House, we're gonna get a Paige and Craig and a Lindsay and Carl. I don't know. It's just fun to
I like
watch.
Paige and Craig together too. I think they're great for each other. I think they're really cute, and they make each other happy, which ultimately is all that matters. Like I really truly believe that everyone deserves love and happiness, and if they do that for each other, like I love that for them, and really I just all I ever want is whoever Paige is with, or whoever any of my friends are with, that their boyfriend makes them happy and gives them like a lot of love. So yeah, I think they're great.
Have you kept in touch with Hannah at all?
No, I haven't. I mean, after the reunion last season was basically the last time I saw her.
Was that a relationship that kind of just fell apart on the show, that just wasn't interested in keeping up? Or did you guys kind of just get busy and slowly drift apart?
No, I mean, it was like ultimately a result of that summer. Yeah. I think there was a lot of unnecessary, forced, made up drama that didn't need to happen. And that's just like not who I choose to really keep in my group of friends. So, I mean, I don't know if that's, I don't know. I mean, I just like she, think about it. Like someone makes up an entire story that you hooked up with somebody and you cheated on your boyfriend. Like that's not really somebody I call a friend.
Yeah.
So I think it's as simple as that.
On Watch What Happens Live, you said that Ciara was the least fun in the house. Who would you say is the most fun in the Summer House?
The most fun? I think Kyle is so much fun because he's just hilarious. Like he is hilarious. I find him to be so funny. So I would definitely say Kyle. I think Paige is a lot of fun too. I really do. I think, I really had fun with her this summer, and she kind of like let her hair down a little bit and is showing more of her natural self, which is fun to see. And I had a great time with her. So
I really like Paige this season, and even in Winter House, because I feel like without Hannah, she just kind of was able to let her hair down and shine a little more and not get kind of over, because I think Hannah just had such a big personality. But I really enjoy watching Paige on the show now.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you also think about it, like Paige had a boyfriend, that we never met on the show, right? And we never got to know him or them in their relationship. And just naturally, when somebody's in a relationship and you don't know the significant other, that person is a little bit more reserved and less out there. I mean, even me, like when I'm single, I am out there. When I'm in a relationship, I'm more reserved, kind of, just in different ways, So I think, having her single and like watching her going through this dating process and trying to like navigate that, it's fun to watch.
I think so. I'm enjoying this season of Summer House. I can't wait to see Amanda and Kyle finally make it down the aisle. I think we've watched their relationship up and down, go up and down for so many seasons now that it's nice to see them finally tie the knot and make it all the way.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm really enjoying this season of Summer House. And I loved you on Winter House. I thought Winter House was a great addition to this franchise.
I'm like still hungover from Winter House.
Would you do another season of Winter House if they're down?
Yeah, of course. Like when have you ever known me to turn down like a week of fun or 2 weeks of fun, or like
would you bring Carl this time?
I mean, I hopefully if they decide they're going to do it, then I'm down for it. But of course, I'm not going to do anything without my boyfriend.
I know. Now he's officially your man. I'm rooting for you and Carl. I think you guys are such a cute couple, and I'm so grateful for you chatting with me on the show today, Lindsay. You've been one of my faves. You and Carl have secretly been my faves on the show since the beginning, and now that you're together, it's like my summer house world has become one.
Oh, thanks. I love that.
Well, I'm excited to see what continues to unfold. Guys, you can catch Lindsay on Summer House Monday nights on Bravo. Lindsay, is there anything else you want to promote about you have your mega PR business, you have your merch, anything else you want to pimp out?
I mean, not right now. I guess if you want to follow me, you can just see what I'm up to in my daily shenanigans at Lynn's Hubs on Instagram. And other than that, just watch Summer House every Monday on Bravo at 9.
Every Monday on Bravo at 9. And then they can buy your merch, which is available. If they want to get activated just like you, they can go and stock up. Or they can stock up on Loverboy. I know I've been drinking lots of Loverboy lately. And it's a good time.
Yeah, it is a good time.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you guys for listening to #NoFilter with Zack Peter. That's me. You can give me a follow at JustPlainZack. I always keep it funny and I always keep it cute. And maybe one day I'll have my own Carl to be able to blast on the gram like Lindsay. I need a giant tree of a man to climb every night, just like Lindsay's able to. I'm coming for that. Manifesting that love this Valentine's Day. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. We have Sheena and Brock from Vanderpump Rules on the show next week, and they've got lots of tea to spill about their relationship and lots of hot dating tips. So stay tuned for that. Follow the show at No Filter with Zack. Be sure to stock up on your No Filter wine at nofilterwine.com. And don't forget to get your tickets to Spilling Tea Live. Me and Adam have some fun shows planned for this spring, so go and get your tickets right now before they're sold out at spillingtealive.com. And don't forget to watch Lindsay Hubbard on Summer House Monday nights on Bravo. All right, love you, mean it. Bye.